All right, welcome to the wash bay. This is going to be what I would call my version of a quick wash of the GT3 RS. The car's pretty dirty, but the wheels aren't super dirty, so we're going to do a quick version of the wheels. The wheels take longer than anything. Wheels and drying take the longest when we're washing. Do 150 milliliters of soap. You know, I guess I could try experimenting. Gosh, it smells so good. This is Koch. I'm going to try to figure out which, how I'm going to call it. Koch Chemie. Because Koch is not the way it's pronounced, I'm fairly certain, but that's what everybody in the US is starting to call it. You're going to see these guys blow up here in the US. They have, they're working on getting all kinds of distributors and stuff. But I used this once. What car did I do this on? The GT4? Yeah. So I used this on the GT4 not long ago. Now we're going to use it on the GT3 and see how it does with halo. But let's get moving. So in my version of a quick wash, this is the one time that I set up both buckets and foam cannon and everything right away. When I say quick, it just means that I'm not going to get all the wheel cleaning stuff out. I have an hour and a half to get this done, which should be sufficient. Take our cap off, put our other cap on, or I guess our funnel off, and put our cap on, shake it up. This is the new hammered finish. Okay, there's that. Set up a wash bucket. The reason why I usually wait to set this up is, you know, you create all kinds of suds, and if you're doing the wheels and all that stuff, and you know, by the time you get to the darn bucket, the suds are have all largely disappeared. So my methodology has always been I'll do the wash bucket right before washing, after foaming. So I'd foam the car. The rinse bucket was already filled because I needed it to be filled to fill up the foam cannon. But the wash bucket I would do after foaming, prior to washing, so that way the foam has a little bit of time to run off and sit on the car. Anyway, let's rinse the car down and then we'll foam it up. We're going to clean up the wheels real quickly, and then the really cool thing that I'm going to start working on here, I think it's for real this time, I can feel it, is building the garage. And I've completely changed my plans, but let's rinse this off first. We got to prove there's dirt. Look, there's dirt. Dirt all over it. It's not a clean car. I wish it was clean, that way I wouldn't have to clean it. So then we'll go right into foaming, including the wheels. Now, because these are carbon ceramics, I could probably clean the car this way every time, but sometimes I like to really get in and clean the wheels well. I swear to you, sometimes this hose just doesn't cooperate. Most of the time it does. So you see, this stuff foams pretty well. It smells really great. So then what I'll do is put my tip on here, and we'll just slide around real fast and clean the wheels. A lot of times I won't even get my seat out. God dang, get out of here. What is this thing doing? So this is one of the advantages of having coated wheels. And then I'll just clean the face of that afterward. So all I want to do is just clean up the inside. Just dust off there goes the frickin' bucket. Get back here. I'm trying to do a quick wash. Hey, I'm telling you, I think this might be my new soap, man. Question is, can we get it and get it in quantity and get it often? And it has to be available in gallons. And I need to experiment with some different dilutions as well. I don't think I cleaned the wheel well over there, did I? Got my new, I need to start telling you, this is my new Nike Metcon 6. I need to start talking about my accessories. Everybody's always asking, what shoes are you wearing? I don't really like Metcon 6s, at least I worked out them yesterday, but I don't love them for working out so much. I like them for looking awesome on camera, bros. So, don't even think about it. The PPF, there's only one spot on the roof. It's kind of lifting up a little bit, but this STEK film is legit. I think the Halo is also great too. I was a little worried about, you know, Halo being inferior to doing Crystal Serum Ultra, but it actually works really well. Just do the exhaust tips real fast. So you can see, you know, with the wheels normally take me 20 minutes. That took me 3. Just doing a real superficial cleaning. And now we'll do the normal wash. Oof, these Mosmatic fittings are like freaking butter. If you don't have them yet, you need to upgrade. Fluff up our soap. Fix my flat spot. Jeff somehow managed to get in my bucket package. He doesn't know how. I said, Jeff, did you get flat spot on my bucket package from traveling? I don't know, people. This soap smells good too. See, this is the only spot here. I'll show it to you after when we're drying, and I have to keep pushing down it. And all the other edges are pretty good. If I could drive outside of like a 5-mile radius, then I would take a trip down to Tampa and have Ryan cut it real quick, but I can't, so I won't. So anyway, the garage. I'm about to go in. I'm gonna shrink it. The whole plan was to, the whole plan was to build the garage back here. I've been talking about it for 3 years now. More than 3 years. First it was to build it out here, and then it's to build it back there. Actually, first it was to add on to this building, and then it was to build it over there. And then it was to build it back here. Now, I don't know why I didn't think of this in the past. I got to credit my coach, Rick, because I told him, yeah, I'm going to build the garage. He's like, well, let me see. I'm interested. And he's like, that's a terrible idea to build it back here. He said, most people aren't going to want to walk that far. I said, well, you know, blah, blah. I started making all kinds of excuses, and then I realized he's right. But the conundrum, the thing I've run into this whole time has been, I mean, I don't do things for resale. That's freaking stupid. You live your life for resale. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, I don't put PPF on the car for the next guy. You put it on a car for you, if that's what you want. So, I don't want to live life by always worrying about resale value, but there comes a point where you have to draw the line. And so, you know, I build this $500,000 garage back here, and then, let's say my house right now is worth $1 million. Well, then it'd be worth $1,050,000 right? So I'd have a $500,000 garage back there that someone would be like, oh man, that's great, thanks. And no one would ever pay for it. So what we're gonna do instead is, and I'm sure I'll have a video coming up here, but I'm gonna bolt on to the home theater, that sort of side building, and we're gonna put I just set up the first initial design, and it was a little bit bigger than what I was planning on doing back here. But I think the whole point is to dial it back a little bit. And then if we stay here forever, 4 or 5 years from now, we're still here, it appears we're not going anywhere. I'm not moving to Canada, and we know that, and so I build another garage if I have 15 cars. Who the heck knows? I've decided to stop predicting my life, because the never say never stuff never pans out. The only thing that the never part is that I never do what I say I'm going to do forever. So things change. I got a freaking dog, for gosh sake, so anything can happen. So I really need to scale it back a little bit. Right now it's what do we say, Mike? It was like a 14-car garage we have it set up. I don't need comfortable 12, easy 14 to 16. I don't need that. And so the problem with that is I want to build an area above, right? But I only really want a guest room. And so the garage, if I build it 54 by 67, is like 3,900 square feet, which makes the upstairs area, because I want 14-foot ceilings, flat ceilings, not vaulted. I'd like to have a mezzanine, but the problem with the mezzanine is then you got poles in the garage. I don't want any poles. I want poles in the way. So the upstairs then becomes 4,000 square feet, and I only need a guest room. And so I built an office, 2 guest rooms, like a game room that I don't really freaking want or need. And then I end up with like a 50-foot long office. It's just too big. So I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit, both on the lower and upper levels, and be a little bit more responsible. It'll cost less. It won't make some monstrosity. But the beauty of attaching it to the house is that then we gain square footage, not from the garage. Well, I mean, if the garage is conditioned, I'm sure you could, which is going to be, I guess you could call it under air, so it could be called square footage, but my house right now is like 4,500, 4,400 and change square feet with the home theater. And so that would make it like 9,000 square feet without the garage. So, or 8,500 square feet. It's just too much. So, at least I'm saying that right now. I'm gonna sit down, redesign it, shave some footage off of it, and make it practical, because ultimately I could still build something out here later on if I need to stay here. Or I'm going to stay here and not build my own home from scratch or something. So that's the plan. So my guess is, let's say it ends up being, let's say it's 45 by 55. How many square feet is that? 2,000 and change, 2,500-ish. And yeah, 40 by 50 would be 2,000. So 2,200 square feet. And then the upstairs, so we're probably looking at, $140 a square foot to build. So on my 400 grand-ish to build it. Oh shoot, wrong bucket. The other advantage is, now I may have been able to do this in the first place, but I might as well just finance it, keep my cash. But refinancing the house, doing a construction to perm sort of financing, utilizing the equity of the house. So let's say the garage is ends up, let's say it ends up being 500. And let's say the appraised value is, let's just say it's 900 on the house. Then, I don't know what I owe on the house, but something. It's like 500 grand or something like that is my mortgage. I will probably likely always have a mortgage forever. So those of you that are flipping your lid, why would you not have a mortgage? It's like, it's a 3.25% interest. So that $500,000 is invested in inventory and marketable securities, and those investments will pay for that home, pay for that 3.5% 50 times over, 100 times over the course of my life. I mean, why not do a 30-year fixed as well? That's another thing. Unless the interest rate is remarkably different, why would I do a 30-year fixed, or why would I do a 15-year fixed? I can just create my own 15-year fixed out of a 30-year fixed mortgage. Unless the rate is like 0.75% or less, or 1% less, having the option to pay over 30, pay less monthly cash flow out just in case, to me seems to make a lot more sense, because I'm not a huge proponent of refinancing all the time. You're paying a freaking closing cost every time you do that. Don't do that. I've never refinanced a house. The only reason I do it now is if I was going to roll in the garage into the deal. And so I'm going to make it, since it'll be attached to the house, I'm going to make it really freaking nice. I've already started digging into lighting. What was that Cree stuff called? It's called, they have color shifting skylight emulators. It starts with a C. It's like, it's not Caseta, that's Lutron. Shoot. Anyway, I'll be sharing all this stuff that I figure out, but I'm going to call and try to get a hold of somebody in marketing for Cree, try to get them really involved in the lighting project. I don't know why, but Cree just seems to be the right LEDs for me. And so those lights are color shifting. They're made for hospitals and stuff. My fear is that each fixture is like $1,000 and I need 70 of them. So I don't know if that's going to work. But we'll see. And but I'm gonna make it really nice. Whereas before I was gonna end up cutting corners and stuff in the back here. That way I didn't spend too much money on it. But here, if I build a little smaller, I attach to the house. The other advantage is I don't have to bring in however many yards of concrete. I don't have to bring in tons and tons and tons of concrete, because I was going to extend the driveway out here, extend the driveway over there. It was just going to be a huge project. I'd have to bring in more power, water, septic. So on my house, we'll probably have to add a supplemental septic system, but that's cheap in comparison. So I'm working on the design. I'll be sure to share it with you. I want to make sure this is going to happen before I start sharing it again. I look like an idiot. But yeah, I'm going to build a garage. 3 years later, still haven't done it. I don't know why I didn't clean this like this in the past. It wasn't part of my procedure where I just open up the rear deck area and clean under there. And then we'll just do a real superficial cleaning of the wheels. Remember, carbon ceramics. Yes, I'm using the same sponge. Yes, I'm just doing a superficial face cleaning of the wheels. But almost all the stuff is blown off anyway. There's no difference in the dirt that's on the wheels here than was right here on the paint. So now I don't like to use my pad. Like I wouldn't do this to the M3. So you see I'm 30 minutes or so quicker, 20, 25, 30 minutes quicker, just doing this quick wash to the wheels. Again, this is a Mormon quick wash here, not a real quick wash. And no, you can't coat it and just rinse it off. It's a waste of frickin' time. Don't do that. It's stupid. Doesn't do anything. And then we'll deal with the wash bay. some other day. Meaning, upgrade the wash bay and cut the concrete and put in drains and stuff like that. We'll do that some other time. So the ETA in the garage, I would like to do it as soon as possible. Interesting, this soap doesn't reactivate like Adam's does as much. So normally when I blow in there, it blows all kinds of bubbles out. That's a really good thing. I think I'm in on this. I think I'm calling Andrew and telling him back up the truck. Why have I not been doing this since the beginning of time? Keep this super clean. It's all coated and wash it out every time. Yep, I freaking love this soap. Yep. It's still a bit surreal that, you know, it's not lost on me. I mean, this freaking car is so awesome, so great. You know, I love the GT4, it's fun, but this is my car, man. This is the car that I, you know, as a human, if I could be like something, this is what I'd aspire to be like. This is the mechanical embodiment of what I would hope to be as a human. A little sterile, still wears green shoes. A little wide, a little bulky. But freaking awesome. Here we go, I'm gonna have to call the Germans and say, I wanna know, I was talking to all the representatives because the rag company is a major master distributor for the product. My friend Andrew is, he's the, I guess, the main national distributor for the product. And nobody knows how to pronounce it properly. So we're gonna figure that out. But when I was at SEMA, the Germans that were there told me it was Koch. You have to do that. Koch Chemie. But then I've seen some of their promo videos where they call it Koch. And I'm almost certain it's not Koch. All right, let's blow it off. We're getting close. About a month and a half, it'll start to cool down. It won't be so freaking sweaty. Oh shoot, I keep forgetting to call back David. I gotta call David Beaver back about this short attachment. It's just to save you from the write in the comment. This is a prototype. This is 3D printed, but he's working on making this exist. I owe him a call back, and yeah, it's freaking awesome. So hopefully we'll have it soon. It's the wrong battery. Oh, by the way, if you have the choice, don't buy the 650. It's so shrill, you can't use it without an earphone thing or ear whatever protection. The 580 you can. You know, now I always do it when I'm drying the car, but if you're just blowing off the driveway, man, it hurts your ears. The 650 does. This is my new move where I blow off like right here. That way by the time I get to the tire dressing, it's dry. I like that move. Gosh, these Porsches take so long to dry with a leaf blower. I mean, you could just do it quicker, but it wouldn't be as dry. Boy, good old Florida. So, I still haven't fixed the windows. Gotta get that frickin' G1 off of there so I can actually take care of the windows properly. But if I get bead maker on the windows, it's smear crazy. It's no good, no good. And we'll just do a light dusting here. So I still have time, but if I didn't, I would just dry it with one of the big white large drying towels and be done with it. But I have time to go and do a drying aid bead maker application. And so still, I mean, this would look way better without PPF on it. That's why on my GT4, if I'm going to the mountains, I'm taking this. So that's the only real application where I'm going to end up with a bunch of rock chips. You know, I live in Florida. Now, if you live in Michigan, it probably makes sense to PPF all of your cars because you've got, you know, a lot more rocks and crap on the road. We have more sand. And it's pretty, especially where I live here, it's pretty easy to manage how much traffic is around. You know, so it's pretty easy for me to avoid rock chips in general. And so let's say I get 3 rock chips. I have at least 3 edges and corners here that don't look great. So we can avoid the, gosh, it's freaking, I don't like this stuff on the windows. I'm gonna end up with smears everywhere. I'm gonna have to use glass cleaner. Just push my edge back on. So this edge here is starting to lift, so it just needs to be trimmed back a little bit. So the expansion joint just started to lift up the PPF a little bit on this edge. So it's a real simple fix, and that I could probably do it myself. It never looks as good as paint. So I don't care what PPF you buy, STEK, Expel, whatever. You're putting plastic over top of paint, so you're losing clarity and optics and all that stuff. It's part of the deal. So if you have the choice, which everybody does, of course, you save yourself, you know, this car costs like $7 grand to do PPF on it. You save yourself a bunch of money. If you're just driving around town and you can manage your exposure to rocks, then don't do it. I love this wing. It's like, you know, I always talk about car guys have like an inherent tackiness to them. Well, I have that too. And everybody loves a good wing, even though you love ragging on guys who bolt some stupid wing. And so this one gets us a wing without having to be you get a pass on it because it comes with one. And it looks freaking awesome. It's like wing done right. GT3 RS, wing done right. That should be the Porsche slogan. Man, this thing's, it's good, real good. So I got all 1,800. There are 2,498, I think it is, tools that Sonic makes, like individual parts and pieces. And so I narrowed it down based on the spreadsheet because they have a lot of like 1-inch tools and giant monster tools. And I still ended up buying, I didn't catch them on the list. I still ended up with some 70mm wrenches and stuff that are just way too massive to ever need in a cabinet. One wrench takes up a whole frickin' cabinet. So, and one wrench is like $500. So I guess I'll be mounting those in a frame on the wall or something and making some douchebag car guy art. Maybe I'll create it and auction it off or something. So the plan is, but one of my visions from the very beginning was to be able to be a provider of end-to-end solutions. And so Milwaukee, Sonic, having a extremely robust but well-vetted tool solution. And I think that's one of the things that's missing in the world is that unless you do it all yourself and figure it out, unless you buy 1,800 tools and sift through them, it's one of those things where you never really know if you've got the right stuff. And so I'm going to solve that because I have the reason to do it. And some of you that watch these videos don't need that resource, but most people do. And I'm not particularly interested in the cranky, argumentative YouTube commenter. I'm interested in the guy that wants what I want, only doesn't have the time or particular affliction to deal with it like I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first create the Matt Mormon Master Collection, the Obsessed Garage Master Collection of tools. And then from there, then we're going to segregate it out into different packages of essentials, and the idea is that package A through Z adds up to the master collection. So you can buy, let's say, because one of the things I always wanted to do, and like even with like the Griot's Garage catalog, if they had a master collection, I would have started working through it and buying a little bit at a time, so that way at the end of it I could say that I completed it. I got it all done. So we're going to create master collection and then create package A through whatever it needs to be, J. Call it something cool. Same thing with detailing. God, I got to get on that because we want to have that done for the conclusion of the GT4 project. So, one of the things I've been noticing, a lot of people commenting about, man, I liked it better the way it used to be. I liked the videos the way they used to be. Meaning like angles and stuff. I'm like, this gets so many complaints, and rightfully so, that I'd be like shooting this video and it'd be out of focus and my head would be chopped off and you wouldn't be able to see anything up close. And oh, by the way, it took me 3 times longer to do a video because I had to edit it, I had to video it, I had to move the camera around and all that stuff. So, I don't know, man. I can't imagine how it could be worse having a legit camera operator to get like this angle instead of being 30 feet away all the time. I get some of the videos, we have some goofy stuff like the Civic video that I've got a bunch of young talented guys sitting in a room watching me fumble and making fun of me a little bit. But I encourage that. I don't know. I think it humanizes the whole thing because what I'm doing is not a very relatable thing at times, in that, how many people get to do what I do? So to me, I think it's important that I show the real, like when I make a mistake on something, because that's real. That's what regular people, that's what all of us go through. Even though I have a rather extraordinary job, if you will, existence. I guess I don't have a job, but existence. It's still very real, at least it is to me. And so I think it's important to continue to capture that and show that in videos. So when I frickin' break a $900 mirror, if you haven't watched that video, go check it out. The Civic spoon mirror video. Go check that out and laugh your face off at me ruining a mirror by being an idiot. Actually, not even by being an idiot, just by being a human. The difference is when you're obsessed, you can't just spray paint it and sand it up a little bit and call it good. You got to buy a new one. That's why when Cerakote has been trying to get me to use their trim stuff, and they've convinced themselves that the best thing, it would be a headlight restoration kit. I'm like, I don't, and most of the people who watch me, we aren't restoring headlights. Buy new ones. First of all, don't mess up your headlights in the first place. But if you happen to get a car that somebody else messed up, I mean, doing some Band-Aid headlight restoration is not the way to fix it. You only do that if you can't get the headlights, or they're, you know, insanely expensive. Not sure where I was going with that. Oh, talking about the spoon mirror and janking it back together. Now, let me rephrase that. It's, you know, it's a write-off for me and an insignificant expense because I've worked my freaking face off and taken massive risk in order to get here. So I'm not going to apologize for that ever. The risks I've taken to get to this point and the amount of work, even though, yeah, I'm playing with cars all day, I'm freaking telling you, I've never worked so hard in my life, and I've worked pretty hard for most of it. So to be able to buy, make a mistake, and then just fix it is, I think, what this whole gig of taking all this risk is all about. Because it certainly would be nice to wake up in the morning and just go to work. Wake up, go to work, and go home. It doesn't exist for me anymore. I don't know about the, I'm excited for the 992 RS. I'm assuming I'll try to get one. We'll see where I'm at. In like the garage process, I might be preoccupied. But man, is it gonna be wonderful to, two things are gonna change drastically here for me. One, OGHQ is about to change in that we'll have the whole facility open up, so all the shipping, all of the pallets and all of that are about to disappear from HQ and going to my other building. We got the permits. I paid the first draw for the construction. So the facility, the building's about to get put together here over the next 3 or 4 months. A target date is to go Jan 1 is the target date move-in. You know, January 2nd, let's say, would be the target date move-in to the new building. And so that means I'll have a lot more space to park cars there. We're going to get the Hunter Auto 42S mounting thinger and the Hunter Road Force balancing system. And then we'll decide if I want to hire somebody to mount and balance tires. This could be a real resume booster for whatever next job we have. If you have experience mounting and balancing and you're good at it, and this will be your way to get into pull on my heartstrings and get yourself a job, get yourself a package to move down here to old Lady Lake, Florida, and come work for OG. You could work on product development and mounting and balancing. I still say that if the going gets tough, I'll turn on the OG wheel and tire solution. I know a lot of people would take me up on that because it's so hard to find a place that can put on wheels without jacking them up. Just send your wheels directly to me here, and we have an OG Spec guy mount them up, ship them off to you, denibbed and the whole deal. Bet you I could start a whole chain of stores called "We Don't Jack Up Your Wheels, Bro." That was what's so great about these tires or wheels. I bought them from Tag Motorsports, and they mounted, balanced, shipped them in in individual boxes, and I'd put them on. TPMS installed, the whole deal. Just plug it in. It's great. That's the way to go. All right, we gotta do the windows. First, let's do the rear deck and front trunk. What else we got going on? I'm so excited about the garage. I feel like I'm finally in the right place. So it's funny, I was talking to my coaches. I'm like, I feel so out of sorts. Like, I feel like I don't, again, I don't edit the videos. I don't create the products. I don't, you know, I've kind of leveraged humans, leveraged talent to come and do things better. And so I've kind of lost, I don't have to do anything anymore. So I'm like, what's my next big thing? And of course I have the Milwaukee project I'm working on and stuff, but I was feeling a little out of sorts, and then boom, the 1800 Sonic tools showed up. Then same day, all the Milwaukee bit sets showed up that I've got to dig through. And then the day after, the new Nussbaum Jumbo 7 showed up. So I'm like, oh crap, now I got too much. It's the story of my life. I always go too far, and then it all comes and hits me all at once. And I start freaking out. But we're not gonna freak out this time, because I have no trips messing any of this stuff up. So I got all this fun stuff to play with, and I don't have any anticipated, I've got to leave and go somewhere. The only place I have to go is Emmanuel's garage, which, you know, the supply chain is just so broken. It's so hard to get anything. Waiting on the darn cabinets. Can't do a darn garage without cabinets. Cabinets are the coolest part. So all I gotta do is wipe this off, put some tire dressing on, and call it a day. A little dusting of old bee maker. Oh, I still have to clean the windows. I hate having to do the windows with something separate. That's why I don't give a crap about chasing down, you know, so I'm sure at some point there's gonna be some better, and maybe there already exists, or some better drying aid that's like some magical solution. But this bead maker stuff, you can take graphene and shove it up your you-know-where, because that's not, I guarantee you that's not it, because it's not any different than the products that already exist. But I just like simplicity. I like great but simple, and I don't know how to explain it, but maybe you can explain it better. Hey Matt, you gonna try some graphene? No, I don't need to try it. I take one look at it, I know exactly what it is. I knew it, now I guess, totally guess, but an educated guess of what it is, and now it's all those guesses I had are coming out. And you go watch Jason on Chicago Auto Pros, did a really great video on, you know, talking with Tim from you know, from Ethos, and you know, we all know what Tim's doing. You know, he's got something that's really interesting and hit it at the right time. And you know, I don't think he's being dishonest or anything with the product. He's just telling you what it is. It's just, and then you're letting people make their own inferences. But it's a, you know, it's a B&B blended. It's a, you know, I'm sure the formulation's a little different, but it's a, you know, B&B blended ceramic or coating that's got some semblance of graphene. And I know Chris, who's the, you know, chemist for them. I don't know if Chris is the lead chemist for Ethos, but you know, they're super stand-up guys. They're not ones, none of those guys are ones to like jerk you around. No one's lying to you or anything about it. But it's not a remarkably different product, because it has the same delivery system. You know, it's installed the same way. It's a very, very similar product to a coating that already exists. And so the reason why I'm not particularly interested in it is that most of the companies that are, you know, like SPS and Ethos and Adams, most of the companies that are getting in deep with the concept of adding refined graphene oxide into a solvent-based resin-delivered coating, pretty much all of them are newer to this game. All of them are. And so they have an inferior base. The base is inferior because they haven't been doing it as long as the Japanese and the, you know, like the kamikaze Japanese stuff has been developed for many, many years. The you know, G-Technic line. I don't know where G-Technic comes from. I don't know that they manufacture it in the UK. Or Geon and CarPro are Korean products. So But those products are 20 years in the making. So 20 years of testing and refinement. And so most of the new graphene coatings are, again, same concept. So don't get so excited that it's a single mono layer of graphene. It's not actually really graphene. We don't know how much graphene they're putting in the product. But I owe Chris a call back because I'd like to understand even more the the chemical makeup behind it, and how they bond the carrier, what carrier they use, and how they bond refined graphene oxide to make that the product that attaches. And it's so funny, everybody's talking about water spots. Well, I pretty much guarantee you the water spotting is just the same. It just may so happen to be that, G-Technic may water spot a little differently than Geon. And so again, think about this logic, go back to the base coating. That base coating of SPS or ethos or whatever may not be as prone to water spotting. It's not the graphene that's making it less water spot prone, because there is no graphene in there. It's refined graphene oxide. And then who the heck knows how much is in there? Just enough to call it graphene. And of course, no one will be transparent with that, just like no one is transparent, because they don't want their competitors knowing. Because it would be one of two things. If they know, then they can steal it, or there really isn't much in there, so then everybody gets to tear it apart. Because ultimately, the resin is what's bonded is what's attached to the surface. The graphene, supposedly, or gosh, I hate this glass coating. I gotta polish it off. It's gonna leave smear marks all over. So how did I get on this subject? I promised myself I wouldn't talk about it anymore. Because it doesn't frickin' matter. You know what matters? Is your coating that you're using legit? Does it work? Stop looking for the frickin' holy grail. I'm not looking for it, so why are you looking for it? I have a monetary vested interest to find the holy grail. Here's what you do. Buy some freaking G-Technic Crystal Serum Light and some EXO, or some CarPro Seacourts UK, or some Kamikaze Miyabi and ISM. Buy one of those. They're great. I don't even have to use the new old, let's call it the old but new twist graphene coating. I don't have to, because I pretty much guarantee you it's inferior because of the development schedule. Maybe someday it'll be better. Hey, it's certainly a way to make some money. Start talking about it. I'm just not going to do it. And the reason for that is because I know what's going on, based on simple logic. So, a little OG tire dressing. By the way, this tire dressing is a very similar thing in that this is a B&B formula that B&B developed. Chris and his team at B&B. And I bought it. The difference is, I'm telling you where it is, where it's from. I'd love to tell you. I'd love to go there and show you how it's mixed. They wouldn't do that, but if they would, I'd be doing it. Because I want to know. It's part of the reason why I like P&S so much. They're the original manufacturer, and you see the simplicity of it. If you go back and watch my tour of P&S, and then there's a video of Dave Phillips and I sort of making a soap, and how he's working off of a recipe list that he'd kind of come across or created. It's not rocket science, and it's not nobody's freaking transparent because of what I mentioned earlier. Can't wait for all the ethos versus atoms comparison. I don't know that they're the same thing, but my guess is they're the same freaking thing. My guess also would be that atoms, although they launched it secondary, my guess, again, this is a educated guess, is that the atoms coating is superior. I would think, you know, if I, now let's say I know B&B is a, you know, company that's been around in a long time, and you know, Tim's been working with them to develop his product line for quite some time. Of course, you know, I've never heard him say it's B&B, but it seems pretty clear to me that it's B&B. Just look at the bottles. So I think if I owned atoms, I would say I would hold back the greatest, the best stuff for my own product line. But maybe not. Maybe they have like ultra integrity, and they just, you know, now they blend for many different companies, and so I'm sure that there's some formulations that have agreements. I have an agreement on this product, but I don't have any, you know, anything written down. I didn't sign anything, and so I mean, we have exclusivity on this product, but you know, and they gave me sort of my word is word, you know, promise that they wouldn't blend this and send it to someone else. But you know, another question is, well, why isn't this their tire dressing? You know, why isn't this product their tire dressing? I just think that they just didn't occur to them that it was good, or maybe it wasn't presented to them. It was just in the recipe book. So, but again, I would think that, you know, especially on a newly developed product and a new, you know, chemical formulation, that and adding some new additive to a product, you would think that, you know, you would have the best formulation would go to the owner of the blender. But who knows? Maybe not. Just an interesting thing to think about. So we're done. I'm gonna wipe this excess off. I don't love adding tire dressing, doing my quick cleaning. I really like to clean the dirty superficialness off of the tire dressing with P&S Brake Buster, whereas this time I just used the soap GSF, but it'll be fine because I have a nice base. But I can even tell it's not bonding as well as if I kind of not stripped it, but cleaned it a little better and then added. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Guess I'll catch you on the next one. That's a quick wash. I'm not going to do anything to the interior. I'm going to swap cars. The GT4 is coming out, so the GT4 gets driven the next week or two. The GT3 goes in for a nap in the bubble, but soon it'll be put in a garage. So I have a bubble. So what I'll do, I have a bubble, a car cover, a bubble, and a garage. So pull into the bubble, put a car cover on it, put it in the garage with air conditioning and dehumidification and water filtration and all that stuff. We'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.